Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. As you can see right here in front of you, we got another Allosaurus. And it's a new Allosaurus that has only recently come out. I think he's been out for actually a month or two. It says 2018 actually at the bottom of the box over here. But I don't think he's been out too long. I could be wrong though. He may have been out a little longer than I'm thinking he was. But I only recently got a hold of him. And it's one that I thought looked pretty good in the promotional images, but I wasn't super sold on it. I kind of thought that it looked a little iffy, but possibly good. But just because it was an Allosaurus, I really wanted to get a hold of it. So I pulled the trigger, bought it, and here it is to look at. As you can see, it says Collection Museum Series. I'm not 100% sure what the actual company name is that makes this. Okay, production of Prehistoric Passions Model Studio. So that says that right there. I assume that is who makes this, as it does say it is a production of them. And then we've got a nice image here of the Allosaurus and its skeleton. Very cool. It does say 500 right here. I don't know exactly if that's telling me that it's a limited edition, because unfortunately I cannot read this. Of 500, I had heard that it was a limited edition, but I don't know for sure. The box underneath has nothing really important on the back. So let's go ahead and open this up. So as I open it, one of the very first things that I see is a very cool image here that you get with the Allosaurus. And again, a nice image here of the Allosaurus itself. All sorts of stuff that, once again, I cannot read, unfortunately. But, as I said, a very cool diorama backdrop for the Allosaurus. Okay, so this set straight away is way cooler than I had anticipated it being. First of all, you get this little stand here, which I'm not 100% sure what exactly it's for, other than, I guess, holding the background here. Maybe up high. I don't understand what the point of it being so high would be for. But regardless, you do get this little stand that snaps that into it. Again, I'm not positive if that's what it's actually for, but that's what it appears to be for me. Anyway, we've got this cool background, but something very cool that you also get with it is this. You get an Allosaurus skull. That is really nicely done, actually. Overall, is an absolutely beautiful looking, very small miniature Allosaurus skull. You also get the base itself, and then the Allosaurus itself. And I'm gonna say without question, this Allosaurus is actually way nicer than I expected it to be, and much nicer than we saw on the promotional images, which is something that I think is an absolute plus. Very cool to have that kind of a surprise with it looking so nice, because it really looks quite beautiful. As you can see, it's got a very nice base. It's kind of a plain base, just a black appearance, but at the same time it's very nice, very professional looking, and the Allosaurus appears to be sculpted and painted really quite beautifully. So let's go ahead and get a closer look. So starting up here with the head sculpt of the Allosaurus, you can see that overall the sculpting of the head is really beautiful, and I think it honestly looks really quite nice. Very nice paint application as well. It overall has a beautiful mixture of colors all throughout the head, giving it a very realistic look with many different skin tones. I think they've done a very good job with this green that they've applied, but then kind of dry brushed a brown right here over the front, giving it a very natural appearance. And then you come up here into the palette, and you can see the palette has kind of like a pinkish color, and then the eye is a gold with black for the pupil, and it's got a very nice shine to it, a very nice glossy look. And then again here you've got some pink, and then up here you've got some pink that leads up into the crest with a much darker pink. And I think it really looks quite nice, very striking appearance to it. The lower jaw also has a mixture of browns and greens throughout, making it again look very real with many different tones of color. It has an articulated jaw, which works really nicely. And if you look at the inside of the mouth there with that skin flap, you can already see it shining with a beautiful, very realistic gloss. You can also take note of some very nice sculpt and detail. As far as the small details go in there, the mouth has a really nice looking tongue in there, very realistic. The entire inside of the mouth actually looks very realistic in general, but look how cool the tongue looks. I love how it kind of tapers off to a darker coloration on the end of the tongue, but overall there are like numerous different colors and tones of coloration inside the mouth on the tongue, looking very realistic. I think overall the mouth looks just in general completely real and awesome. The teeth are painted and sculpted individually and very nicely. There's no sloppiness to the paint. They all generally look very good, so there definitely has been some care and time that has been applied to painting this. It's not anything that was rushed through or sloppy, and I think it looks really nice because of that. And that overall patience when it comes to their painting was definitely something that paid off quite well. As you start to lead down the neck, you can take note of some very nice sculpt work, all sorts of very small, minute details, a few osteoderms kind of sticking out here of the neck, very nice, very fine looking skin texture, a few skin folds here in the lower part of the neck, and you can see that it's a mixture of greens and like a blackish kind of coloration that's kind of been very lightly airbrushed on, and I think it looks very real and very natural the way they've done that. You come down here, you can again take note of some skin folding, some very nice chest muscles here. As you get into the shoulder blade area, look how beautifully portrayed the shoulder blade is here, kind of protruding from the skin right there. It really looks like there's actual bone underneath the skin. Incredible the way they've done that. And you can again really take note of the beautiful skin texture right here. It really gives you that feeling of a very large animal, and I love seeing that on these figures, as we know that this would be a very large animal. And then you lead down into the arm, you can again take note of some very nice musculature here in the arm. Beautiful paint applied as it turns into a brownish coloration for the hands, and then kind of turns again, it tapers off to a blackish coloration near the nails, and the nails themselves are like a white, and they look very good also. Very, very nice. And that lighter coloration on the nails really helps to bring your attention to the nails and really elaborate them. Then you move up into the stomach, you can kind of see a few skin folds and just the skin in general reacting to the movement of the arm there. A few more skin folds down here, and once again that beautiful skin texture really looks quite beautiful all over the place, and the paint continues to look very, very nice. It kind of has this light green and then transitions to a darker green here, and then transitions back to a lighter green in the stomach region, and there's kind of a mixture of a few different greens throughout, which are also mixed with this black kind of striping that runs the entire course of the body. It just looks super, super cool the way they've done that. And then we lead back here into the hip. You can see a very nice hip bone elaborated from the body there, and again beautiful musculature here in the thigh. Very nice musculature in the calf. As we lead down the leg, it transitions into a brownish coloration once again, and the feet look fantastic. A few different shades of brown have been included. There appears to have been maybe a light brown that was dry brushed over top of the foot. The nails also appear to be painted very nicely on there as well. And this is actually one thing that's very cool about this model that I've never seen anyone else do. And if you take note right there, you can see there are magnets on the bottom of the foot, and that is actually how it attaches to the base. And then as we lead up here behind the thigh, you can again see some skin folding going on there, and then we lead out the length of the tail, which looks really, really nice. It's got some beautiful creases in the skin as you come out, and then really see the beautiful skin texture take over completely as the tail leads all the way out. Very nice, very long, into a very slight curve, but it looks very natural and very real. And then if we look at this side, again, it's pretty much the same deal as the previous side. Everything looks the same, as it's in a fairly neutral position. It's just kind of wandering along. The head is in exactly the same position. It's maybe got a very slight right turn, but it's ever so slightly that it really wouldn't have any kind of change in the overall sculpting of the way the skin would be reacting. It all looks pretty much the same as it does on the other side, but that means that it looks beautiful on both sides. Again, as we move down here into the arm, you can take note of the shoulder blade again from the skin there, but the arm is in exactly the same position as you see on the opposing side, so all the same things like the beautiful musculature and the very nicely painted hands and nails and everything are all present on this side as well. You can also kind of take note to a brown, almost like a burnt umber or a light blackish striping that runs the length of the arms as well. And then we move back up into the stomach. Once again, that very nice green mixture of all sorts of greens, and the blacks and almost like a burnt umber is also seems to have been mixed in there. Looks very, very nice. And then we look at the thigh and calf area on this side as well. I don't see any seams at all on this figure anywhere, so they have done an absolutely incredible job as far as hiding the seams of the figure and how it was put together. They definitely get kudos from me for that. beautiful foot sculpt again on this side, and very nice paint application as well. And then we come back up into the tail once again, run out the entire length of the tail. Everything just looks absolutely fantastic. Beautiful striping that runs the length of the tail again and makes the entire thing very, very striking, but very beautifully done. The underside looks great. The upper back area looks great. Everything is just awesome. One thing that is really cool, as I said before, it actually has magnets in the feet, so you can attach it to the base with magnets. And you can see it's, oh, now it fell off, but it's actually very strong. It can even lift the base up. So that is one really cool addition to this figure. I've never seen any company utilize the attaching of a figure to a base in this way, so I think that is just an absolutely beautiful addition to this already awesome set. I love the fact that you can just go ahead and throw it on the base without any kind of a peg or anything. If you want to just lift it off, you can. If you want to put it on the base, it stands perfectly. It's honestly very, very stable. I think you would have a pretty hard time knocking this thing down. And I love that there's also a nice little nameplate there stating that it is an Allosaurus. So that is a very, very cool touch already on top of what is an awesome looking set. Also, one thing that is also really neat here is the Allosaurus skull. If you look at it, fits perfectly within the head of this Allosaurus model. So that is a very cool touch as well. And as I said, this Allosaurus skull looks to be really beautifully done, very nicely weathered, and in general just looks absolutely beautiful, just like the model itself does. As far as the size goes on the Allosaurus, it is a fairly decent size from the tail to the head. You're looking at about 12.5 inches or about 32 centimeters. And if we move the base, actually, it can stand without it. And for a height off the base, you're looking at about 4 3/4 inches or about 11.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, and you can see that the Allosaurus really quite nicely measures up to our Papo friend here. But as far as sculpt and detail, it's actually really similar. So this company being able to pull out Papo type sculpt is very impressive. And overall, I think that these two look like they belong together. So that shows you just how high quality this Allosaurus is when it can compete and compare to a Papo figure. But considering the size of the Papo Rex being pretty big, you can see that this Allosaurus is also quite big. And in another size comparison, here is the recent W Dragon Allosaurus. And you can see that this Allosaurus here actually really matches quite nicely to this, so I'm assuming they're probably the same scale, which I believe is 1/35th scale, so that should give you a pretty good idea, again, if you have the W Dragon Allosaurus, how nicely sized this Allosaurus is, and they actually look very nice together. They look almost like they belong together as well, so again, something that could create a pretty cool diorama to have two different Allosaurus in it. So this set overall is awesome. I love this. I absolutely love this. The Allosaurus itself is really beautifully done, has completely exceeded my expectations and then some. It's absolutely fantastic looking. It looks very real. I think the pose is nice and simple. It's just a kind of walking along very naturally. It's in a very neutral pose, just kind of chilling, I guess you could say. And I think the paint applied all looks fantastic, looks very, very real. It's all been beautifully applied with an airbrush, and in general looks like real body color and skin color, not just paint applied to a figure. I think that this just has been beautifully done. The detailing, as far as the small, minute details, looks awesome. Everything looks fantastic. I think the inside of the mouth and the eyes look very real. A beautiful gloss inside makes everything just look so much more alive. And the fact that they've really spent some time as far as painting it to get all the teeth to look as nice as they do is also saying something about the company themselves and how much pride they take in their models. I think that's really nice looking and a great thing to see from any company. I love the fact that they also added in this background, which you can actually see has a few sauropods back there. We'll use the tail here to actually point at them, but you can see there are a few sauropods just kind of roaming around back there, which is also very cool to have that kind of a background with other dinosaurs involved. and if you do display this, it'd be a great way to display it with the background, giving the entire appearance again an incredible look. It also is awesome to have a skull that you can also throw in your diorama or just in general when displaying this to put with the Allosaurus, and not only to have a skull, but a skull that actually fits quite well within the actual head of the Allosaurus model. The skull itself is also to scale with this figure, which makes the entire thing even cooler. So this is an absolutely amazing set, and it's the very first model that I've ever had from Prehistoric Passions. I am super impressed, and I can only hope that they make more, because this Allosaurus is just honestly beautiful. It's breathtaking. It truly is. This is a great model. If you want to buy it, I will throw a link in the description to where you can purchase one for yourself, because again, I highly recommend it. It's way better than what you see on the promotional images, and much more beautiful in person when you actually see it up close. So check the description. I will link you to where I purchased mine, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.